What's going on, guys? I'm supcharls. Today I'm talking about a video that I will be uploading from 1 hour after this one goes up. Basically make an intro for it because the next video that I will be uploading is gonna be a gunsing video that I have just decided to make as a whole video instead of individual uploads that I originally did plan to do, like I did with my first one a few months ago. So I'm gonna make an intro for it because there is a few things that I want to mention about this video. And yeah, for this video I will be using some old Killzone 2 and 3 clips that I had saved up. I had one Killzone 2 clip, if I remember correctly, and few quick Killzone 3 clips, which doesn't last for too long. So I'm gonna try and make this as short as possible, but also at the same time try and talk about all the things I now need to talk about. But if it does turn out to be too short, I'm gonna also include some Shadowfall clips obviously as well, because that is also something I still have clips for. And yeah, with that said, let me just jump right straight into it. So with this gunsling video that I will be uploading in 1 hour after this one goes live, I did want to point out some quick things about some of the syncs, and that is mainly in the editing process, I guess, because some of them do have some quick problems in them, and some of them may not align perfectly with the song or something like that. I don't know. I did my best, but I wanted to talk about some specific ones, and then if you decide to watch it, you will see what I mean. So I'm gonna start off with the first one, which is Killzone 3. That was a sync that I made as my second one. After I uploaded the first one, I decided to try with the Killzone 3 clip that you will also be watching on this video, which is an LMG streak. And basically with that sync, I did notice that with the 30 FPS being a thing, it wasn't really looking that smoothly. And I did have two other syncs, if I remember correctly, with a Infinite Warfare K-Bar sync and a Black Ops 3 Peacekeeper sync. Those two were also 30 FPS. I'm just gonna point out right now that these three syncs doesn't look that smoothly because of it being 30 FPS. And also after that point, I decided to just stick with 60 as the minimum, because it's just not gonna look too good with 30. And with this Killzone 3 sync, I also noticed that some of the shots doesn't really sync properly with the song, with the beats, and that may be because of the gun sound that I had used, because I had to record my own sound, which I had to do in a bot zone because I needed some quiet times in a match, and it's not gonna be a good thing to try and do that in an online match if I hear someone shooting in the background or something like that. The thing is though, with this bot zone stuff, they also obviously go out and fight, so they do make some noise a little bit here and there, and the maps also make some noise in the background, which is kinda annoying. It's some small details I didn't really notice, but it's apparently think that there's a lot of noise. And one thing I noticed when I tried to record this specific LMG sound was that there's a lot of echo in the gunshots, which I never thought about when I played Killzone 3. So the sounds might have made the syncing to the beats and stuff not sound like it does sync properly. I don't know, but there's just something about it, some quick moments, that does sound like it doesn't feel synced properly. And the thing is, I did try before using the Killzone 3 gun sound I had recorded. I used a Modern Warfare 3 gun sound, which I usually do because I have a sound pack downloaded for that as the only one. So I usually just use a random weapon sound to use it as a testing thing with the markers that I have to place for songs. And with the markers, they were placed fine. The thing is though, the sound with the Killzone 3 ones doesn't sound like it syncs properly sometimes. So that is something I wanted to point out. And also that given Killzone 3 has some quick different sounds as well when you shoot, like when you're inside or if you're outside or whatever, the sound can be a little bit of a different thing here and there. And it's the same thing with some of the other syncs that I made. For example, with the Infinite Warfare K-Bar sync I also made, I had to record my own sounds there, or just in general everything that wasn't Modern Warfare 3. I had to record my own sound, and all of these games except Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike doesn't really have that different sounds there in that department, but Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, Ghost, Killzone, Shadowfall, those four other games, I had to record my own sounds for these specific weapons that I now had to use for syncing. And all of them have this thing where if you are inside of a room or outside, or depending on your surroundings basically, the gunshots will sound a bit different, which is kinda tough to nail and deal with. And with Killzone 3's case, it was one of them as well, as the most trickiest one for me. And Killzone Shadowfall was also really tricky because when I record there, the sounds are really low for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just how it is, I guess. I have to actually turn it up quite a bit. With Infinite Warfare specifically as well, when I recorded the K-bar sounds, I actually had 2 different sounds that I used, and for the first kill, it is the same sound I used throughout the whole kill, and then moving forward with the streak afterwards, I used a completely different one. So yeah, there is a difference between some sounds here and there, and at the time being, I didn't really think about mixing them together. And yeah, so with another Infinite Warfare sync I did have with the AIX or OSA or OSA or whatever you want to call it, I just call it the AIX. Basically, I had a sync there. When I had to record that one specifically and I made the sync for it, I decided to start mixing it up slowly. It was when I had gained a little bit more knowledge about the whole sound situation that it all sounds a bit different depending on where you are. So that is something I wanted to point out, except for Modern Warfare 3, because I already had a sound pack downloaded, and that should also be all I really wanted to mention when it comes to the Killzone 3 sync. So moving on to the next sync is a CSGO one, which is with an M4A4 foam and spray, and it was in cobblestone. Basically that sync was also the only CSGO sync I had, I believe. That specific sync though, I had a quick black screen in the middle of the sync, quickly, like a few milliseconds or something like that, or a few frames or whatever you can call it. And the reason for that is because that specific shot, before it happened, that clip or that shot was really short in terms of clip, so I had to stretch it to the next marking beat that I now had, and it didn't really work out because it was too short to be stretched that far, and so I had to leave a few frames off being black because of that. I couldn't really stretch it further. I just went with it as it was, letting a few frames being black, and then it continues afterwards. It's not because it's a huge deal breaker, but it is obviously something I wish I could have avoided. And the thing is, actually, the next shot and the previous shot, those clips, when I had to split them, because you gotta split them between each shot when you fire the gun and stuff, those 2 shots were actually a bit longer. So if I could have timed it properly with the beats and such, and if it was possible for me to do it, it would basically not have been an issue, because they could actually stretch a bit further and all that sort of stuff. So it's a shame that it wasn't really timed perfectly there with when those shots would happen. But then again, I don't know, since it is also from feeder mode, compared to if I actually just recorded it live when I actually played this at my school, which I can't, but if I could, it would probably have been a bit of a different story maybe. But that is something I wanted to point out with that sync. And then last but not least, when it comes to quick editing problems with the syncs and stuff, I also had a Modern Warfare 3 one, which is with the M4A1 silenced, and it was in dome. And yeah, basically right at the end I had one M4 shot that wasn't supposed to be there right at the end, and sadly I didn't really notice and pay attention to it at the time being, because I thought it really fitted well with the song, but sadly it didn't really fit with the clip because there were no more shots after the previous one. So I forgot to cut that one out, sadly, and that is something I quickly thought I should mention for you viewers. Maybe it's not as noticeable, I don't know, but it is something that I forgot, and yeah, I wanted to quickly point that one out. And then next up, I want to mention that all of these syncs were originally supposed to be uploaded individually, so a lot of them, if not all, actually fades away at the end. I didn't really think about combining them all into one video at the time being when they were made, but that is something I wanted to point out quickly. And then also, primarily with the songs, I mainly used no copyright sounds and some quick hardstyle songs, which is mainly because no copyright sounds obviously, as it says, gives no copyrights. And with the hardstyle stuff, I chose it because it was easier to sync with, and also because it's the primary music I listen to, and most of these songs were something that I listened to maybe a year ago or something like that, so it's not because it's anything recent, but these songs are a little bit more unknown and they didn't really give copyright strikes when I private uploaded it quickly on YouTube and such, so I went with them, and yeah, I'm happy to see that they don't give copyright strikes right off the bat, so that's awesome. But that is the music I went for, and I tried to mix it up a bit with some hardstyle, no copyright sounds in between here and there, so that it wasn't all hardstyle at one point and then no copyright sounds at another point. But sometimes I did put them together quickly, where 2 songs in a row is hardstyle or something like that, because the transitions or something was a bit better with that approach. So yeah, that was the song choice. I will leave the titles and links to the videos for the songs if that is something anyone cares about. Not that I really think anyone does, but I'll leave it nonetheless. I couldn't really have done these things without those songs anyway. Then last but not least, I want to mention that I'm gonna be uploading this commentary, at least this intro video for it, 8 PM. Then the sync will be up at 9 PM. The thing is though, I never really told you guys about this in the past with a commentary or something like that. Basically, I have moved the upload schedule time to 9 PM from now on, and I feel like I should mention this in a commentary, so that's why I'm gonna be doing that now, since I missed out last week. Basically, The reason why is because in the past few weeks or something like that, I've had some quick moments here and there where I've had a hard time hitting that 8 p.m. schedule upload time, and I feel like I should maybe push it to 9 p.m. to be more consistent with hitting a consistent uploading time for you viewers, for those of you who likes to watch the gameplays on a daily basis and such. But I decided to push it for 9 p.m. to give myself 1 hour extra and such, but also because of the daylight saving time being a thing now, so that in theory it feels like 8 p.m. in some ways, but in reality it is actually just 9 p.m. But yeah, that is something I wanted to quickly point out, and there are probably gonna be some times where I miss out on this upload schedule time as well, but at least I'll have 1 hour extra, I guess, to deal with it. So yeah, I've changed the upload time, and hopefully that was all I really wanted to mention. So thank you so much if you sticked around for this long, and hopefully I will see you guys on my next one.